bang on time as well. Good afternoon, everybody. It is just about midday, and here we are live across LinkedIn and actually YouTube, and actually into my private Facebook group, which is where my network hang out and pick up social media tips and ideas. And you may have noticed that I'm joined by somebody else today, but let me just, before I introduce the lovely Tara, let me just introduce myself. If you haven't joined me before, I'm Karen Curitan. I'm a social media trainer and coach working with businesses and individuals, but primarily with coaches and trainers to help them get results from social media. And usually I go live every Monday at 8:30 a.m. But funny story behind that, I was in Belfast at the weekend surprising my mother-in-law because she grew up in Northern Ireland. And we said, it'll be $1. We'll get this flight back into Birmingham 8:30 on Sunday night. And guess what? The flight was delayed and I didn't get home till the early hours of Monday morning, which was, and honestly, I just didn't have the energy. But that's why I wasn't. But I will be back live this coming Monday. But today I'm joined by Tara. Afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. So Tara and I met, oh gosh, must be about 18 months ago. We were both part of a really great marketing community run by the fabulously talented Victoria Prince at Touchpoints Marketing. And Tara's business has evolved, but I'm going to let her share that. But the reason Tara and I are talking now is that earlier this year, she was part of the beta cohort of social media for trainers. And the timing, it's like our paths keep crossing. The timing just was hitting right for Tara. And we worked together, which I'm going to ask her some questions in a moment. But firstly, Tara, tell everybody about you, what you were doing when we first met and what you're doing now, because it's really interesting.
It's completely different, isn't it? Well, good afternoon. And Karen, thank you so much for inviting me to join your live today. Because when you and I first met, I was fumbling around in the dark, fairly uncertain about what it was that I did for a living. I think is just the easiest way to put it. And I knew I had some key ingredients of what I wanted to do, but I was struggling to put names on it, labels on it, describe it. It was really different. And because what I do isn't particularly mainstream, I found it really hard to come up with my business plan, figure out who my ideal clients are, and actually get my business up and running and going. And I think it was about the week before your social media course started, I woke up one morning and Karen's name just popped into my head. Literally, I was just like, I have to reach out to Karen Curtin. Right now, I have to speak to Karen. And I dropped you a note and I went, hi, Karen, how are you? Left it at that because I just thought, right, that's what I knew that I had to do this morning. You came back and went, oh, I'm really fabulous. I'm running this course. And I'm like, oh, that's exactly what I need to do right now. And I'm so grateful for how serendipitous it was that we were connected on that morning and you had a spare space on your course because I think you were pretty full as ever. And I got to share 12 weeks.
We did. And the 12-week course. So what Tara did, she was a bit of a guinea pig, test driving my inspiration. Actually, my inspiration for the course came almost exactly a year ago. I was in bed really poorly with COVID, felt terrible. And then I was awake in the middle of the night and I thought, I need to go downstairs. I had this inspiration that a lot of the people I work with, I do work with other people, but a lot of people I work with are developers of people, improvers of people, trainers and coaches. And I thought, that's it. And I got up in the middle of the night feeling awful and registered the domain social media for trainers.
Brilliant.
And then what then came about, long story short, was this 12-week course, which Tara was one of my lovely testers to give me lots of feedback. And we've just gone live for the first official cohort. So Social Media for Trainers and Coaches was designed to take you through the steps to really getting past any resistance, maybe. building your knowledge and understanding of social media platforms. And because it is for trainers and coaches, we focus on LinkedIn. And that's where we will continue to focus unless people specifically add for other ones. So tell me just a couple of big takeaways for you from doing the course. And then I'm going to ask you to tell me about your business now, because it's really interesting.
So well, I think the two are the same actually, because so can I answer your questions the other way around? I'm going to answer the questions the other way around.
Go for it.
My absolute passion and purpose is supporting women who want to learn how to truly put themselves first, and like put themselves first in a way that is completely unique to them. I really, really care about that, because it's something that I've had to master over, I'd say, a number of weeks or years, but it's not, like decades of mastering how to put myself first in a way that puts me in alignment. And, you know, the list can be endless of people. It could be like, oh, Karen, I want to meditate in the morning, or I want to leave work early, or whatever it is. But actually just doing stuff for ourselves that really matters. So when I joined the course, I said to you, oh, yes, I'm going to be a coach. I'm going to coach some of the business models. I have some very unique models that I work with on helping people like access their inner thoughts and their inner belief system, and things that are limiting them, things that are making it difficult for them when it comes to putting themselves first. I was going to be a coach. That was back at the beginning of the year. And what the takeaways for the course were is actually what I kind of almost do for a living. So your course helped me get into alignment. That's the first question you are. It's like, what is it that you do, and who do you do it for? And when are you at your happiest, and when are you completely in flow? And talking to an audience comes from a place of when you're in a very passionate place, when it's like, really, this is really resonating with you. And of course, the reason why I had such issues with social media is it wasn't coming from my heart. I kind of like didn't have passion. It was like, oh, well, I need to pitch up 3 times a week, and I need to do a post. I don't really know what I'm saying. And it's all really uncomfortable because I'm sharing my story, but oh, my story's so big. What part of my story am I meant to be sharing? Do I share this bit? Do I share that bit? And so the biggest takeaway is in all the questions that you ask relentlessly, week after week, got me into alignment to truly understanding what my business is and what my business offering is. So it was a really beautiful journey for me, because of course, naturally, when we're in alignment, it's so easy to share our story and to put ourselves on social media. So I would say that was pretty big, and that was my biggest takeaway.
And as always, you put that so eloquently, but it is true, because it feels like hard work. It is hard work, whatever you're doing, because ultimately what I'm passionate about and you're passionate about, which is why I love working with you, is that ultimately we want to support people and help them. And how I support them and help them is with a social media training and helping them get over themselves a bit sometimes, not being that busy fool, spending too much time putting the wrong stuff out in the wrong place, and the messaging's all wrong. But now, tell everybody what your business has evolved into now, because this is really interesting. So you've just launched your first courses, haven't you?
I have, yeah. So what I've done is I've decided to take myself off social media, and I've created a really nice, quiet online community on a different platform. I use Circle. And in Circle, you get a great big welcome, very private. It's all incredibly confidential, so that we can show up truly as ourselves without any judgment or looking over the fence of who's doing something better than we might be doing. And I run a 1-month course that you naturally just go into when you join, and it's live, looking at what are the areas of your life where you want to show up and why aren't you, and some tricks and techniques. I'm a business coach. I've got a huge amount of training in the field of professional and personal development that I gained through from my corporate career. So in that community, you get your first month of learning what's getting in your way. And like, now you know what's in your way. How are you going to unblock it? How are you actually going to take action and do something? You know, this morning I was lying in bed, the alarm clock went off. It was 5 o'clock in the morning. It's pitch black outside. I was so snuggled up. I did not want to get up. And I was like, but no, actually, I've got an agreement with myself about how I start my day, where I get my discipline for, how I put myself first. And, you know, within 45 minutes, I was up in the hills with the dogs, having a really beautiful morning, got to watch the sunrise, got to come to work on time. But actually, a year ago, I wouldn't have done that for myself because I wasn't showing up for myself. I wasn't putting myself first, doing uniquely what I want to do. For a lot of people, that would not be their cup of tea. And so last night, I launched Kairos, which is the community, is sitting there now, available to join. And last night, I launched a beautiful program. It's called Gather the Women, Her Words Are Medicine. And it's a 22-day journaling program. And what that really does is a very deep dive. It gets you to have a look at what you might need to release, what's getting in your way, what you might need to reclaim about yourself. And when you look to the future, like what do you need to reveal about your future, and like what revelations that you need to kind of like have so that you can become, I mean, people, it's a very overused term, become the best version of yourself. Actually, to just be happy, just to be happy in your own skin, doing what you want to do. And I've got 3 or 4 other programs that will come into the community, which are all around the same topic about putting yourself first.
But I think you've hit the nail on the head there, actually, because when you are happy, and you used the word before, when you're doing what you're meant to do, you will feel happier. And happier is when you're happiest, is when you are being the truest version of yourself. And it's like, I had a client who I worked with for years, and she kept saying to me, I need to be on social media. I need to be on social media. I just need to find a workable solution. And I said, but it needs to feel right in here.
Yes.
If it doesn't feel right in your heart. You know, we've just in this new cohort of social media for trainers, we've just had a lady said to me, I'm really frightened to post on LinkedIn because I don't want to look foolish. And I said, well, don't. She says, hang on a second, isn't this a social media training course? And I said, yes, it is a social media training course, but it's got to be at the right time for you. And when it feels right, it will be right. I said, so you gift yourself this time to learn, absorb the learning. And the joy of the course is, because in the way I've designed it, it's a forever membership, so people can come back and cherry pick. So you've had the schedule for September, you know which weeks we're doing what. I've even added some more stuff because I can't help myself. I just give. So I've just booked in 3 bonus sessions. I'll never be rich, honestly. It's silly, because my joy, what fills me for joy and makes me feel like the best version of me, is helping other people. And with your new community, so tell me, so this is aimed for women.
It is.
Women that are feeling maybe a sense of lack in their lives.
That's really curious, isn't it? Not possibly. It could possibly be a lack, but it just could be like when we hear the ruminations in our head, I just wish I could leave on time. I wish I could create half an hour on a Saturday afternoon where the kids aren't, you know, rugby tackling me to the ground, like where I could just go off and have a cup of coffee on my own. Or I wish I could have a little bit more energy, start a meditation practice. Like, we have this rumination of things that we wish for. And actually, we can have the things that we wish for. We just have to learn what our style is of doing it and put the structure in place, get the support in place, get rid of any limiting beliefs that we have. And so it could be for somebody who wants to smash the next triathlon but are really struggling to do training, or it could be for somebody actually that's struggling to get into a journaling ritual, wants a morning practice. I mean, it really is for those people who just say, I want to take some action for me and I'm not entirely sure where to start. Because it sounds really easy starting a new habit or a new practice, but sometimes it just feels overwhelming and we don't know where to start. But by inviting women into a community, it's quite inspiring, because you get ideas from other people. You can see that you're not on your own, and you naturally, in that kind of mastermind environment, are getting inspiration as well as being inspiring for somebody else.
That's a great way of putting it, because often you have that sense of community. Funny enough, I just got back. I was at a get together with some of the Athena ladies. So we have third Friday in every month we have an in-person get together for a coffee and a catch up. And the ideas that were bandied around that group in that safe, like you created this wonderful, safe, private space that nothing's off limits, I guess, because people are going to have different challenges that they're going to face.
Absolutely. And the journaling circle, her words are medicine. You know, it's about creating a relationship with your journal and whispering words that nobody else is ever going to hear, but then being able to share your experience with just, 6 or 8 other women in a very, very small, quiet environment, which then can really help the ruminations of the brain of what might be holding you back. Yeah, it's been so different to where I thought I was going to be in April when we first had the conversation about your training course. So different. I'm loving it.
It is, and I think that's the joy, isn't it, of being your own boss. I think the climate that we live in now, the business climate, is there's opportunities there for everybody to be their authentic self. I know it's so overused, but being true to yourself, I think sometimes some of us find it really quickly, and other times it can take a long time to get there. In fact, well, there you go, and me too. And I was actually talking to a business friend of mine. She's also a client, and we were talking about retirement. And because I hit that big number at the end of last year when a lot of people retire. And I said, I don't want to retire. I love what I do. And she said to me, and I love this, she said, I'm just getting started. And I think that's the thing, is what's really exciting is that you have completely flipped on its head what you were doing when we first met. But you're using your energy in a way that feels so much more relevant for you.
Yeah.
And the way that you communicate, I can see that you will resonate with these people.
Thank you. And what I would say about the course, I mean, what I haven't touched on is my passion for the animal kingdom and how everything I do, animals are woven in there because they're just the most incredible teachers. But what I would say about the social media, I did a post this morning, and before I posted it, I just checked in with myself. Is my ego in this? Like, is this authentically me? Is this what I want to hear? Is the people that I want to work with, who I believe that I can genuinely support and help, and the community can genuinely help and support? Is it something that it would resonate with them? And it was just such an easy post to do. I wasn't overthinking it, but quite often, and there was no, quite often in the past, I'd be like, oh, well, I wonder what people would want to hear. And what am I supposed to be saying? So part of the course and all the questions that you ask, it really does help. It really helped me come to a place of, if I'm naturally, authentically me, this is going to be really easy. And it really is. So
which is music to my ears.
Much gratitude for the course.
Yeah. But that is what, my husband will laugh at me and go, oh, it's just social media. So much more. And I think we learn a lot, when we're learning, whether it's part of your journaling or whether you're part of my course, we're always learning about ourselves. And I think we're always evolving. But I think it's opened our mind up to the fact that there are things going on. And sometimes we get those cues and we ignore them. And the lovely Sharon Gaskin, I'm part of her trainer talk community, and I absolutely love being in there. And she has this absolute mantra, niche, 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 niche. And for years I resisted it. And when I launched this program, she went, that's exactly where you're supposed to be. And I said, that's why I suppose for me, when my guard was down, when I was not feeling well, not feeling like, Karen Ray to show up on a LinkedIn live and talk to people, that wasn't, I didn't feel like that person, but that's when the ideas came to me. And sometimes we're so busy getting the kids ready for school. My teenager's sort of just finished A levels, waiting for his apprenticeship. He's just stuck his head around the door. He's gone. we're juggling constantly. We don't hear those messages that are coming to us. And for some of us, they will come when we're taking that time out, for whether it's for meditation, to journal, or whether it could just be in the car and something will come to you, but we sort of mentally brush it to one side. And I think what you're going to do with people is really going to encourage that to come out, which is really exciting. But we could chat about this for ages.
I think we could.
But we could. What I'm going to do is say thank you for joining me. I'm going to pop Tara's contact details in the comments. So if anybody's got any questions, they want to connect with her on LinkedIn, I will put the link to Tara's website as well. And thank you so much for joining me today, Tara. It's been great, as always, to chat.
Thank you so much, Karen. And thank you for the course. It really has made such a big difference. Thank you.
Thanks.